Easy rewards, 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 easy rewards.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Mursaleen. Amma ba'd, fa'a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. As-salatu wassalamu alayka ya Rasulallah. As-salatu wassalamu alayka ya Habiballah. As-salatu wassalamu alayka ya Nabiyallah. Wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Nurallah. Dear viewers on Madani Channel, before we get into the silsila and the topic, just like the day before, in every single episode, and you will see in every single silsila, we try to make targeeb of what? Where we mention something that the best of creation has mentioned, something the most beautiful creation has mentioned, something the most fragrant creation has mentioned, something the most beloved to Allah has mentioned, something that the leader of the prophets has mentioned, none other than the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, what he has mentioned. We try to, look into the blessed ahadith about the excellence of sending peace and blessings upon the best of creation, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. The best of creation, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, has mentioned that the one who recites salat upon me 200 times on a Friday, how many? 200 times on a Friday, his 200 years of sins will be forgiven. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Welcome yet again, dear viewers of Madani Channel, to another episode of this silsila called Easy Rewards, Asan Nekiya. And what is Easy Rewards, Asan Nekiya? Just like the episode before, we tried to mention, I tried to summarize everything, that we do things in our everyday lives on a daily basis, and we don't even realize that this can be a good thing. This could be a good deed. Is this something that I do anyway? Will I get rewarded for this? Is this a sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam? And can it be that in our daily activities, anyway I have to do, if I make some good intentions, could this be a means of forgiveness for me? Could this lead me towards Jannah? 3-4 times in a day that we do our daily activity. But remember, dear viewers of Madani Channel, if you're doing a daily activity 3-4 times in a day, and it's Ramadan, if you're making right intentions, this will be multiplied by many in the beautiful month of Ramadan, which is why Dawat Islami is bringing you this episode, because at the same time, when you're doing something good, your deeds are multiplied. But remember, it's the other way around as well. If you're doing an activity 3-4 times in the day, and you're making bad intentions, dear viewers of Madani Channel, you have an evil intention, dear viewers of Madani Channel, then 3-4 times in the day, you are doing something wrong. You could be sinning, or worse, you could be haram. And these all sins will be times by many. And this could be your reason to place your abode in the hellfire. To, create a path towards Jahannam. So dear viewers of Madani Channel, this is the beauty of Dawat Islami Madani Channel, bringing to you this silsila in this Ramadan to stop you from all the bad, to not do things as a formality and to do things as a good. And if you're doing things as a good anyway, meaning you're making the correct intentions, the right intentions for Allah and His Rasul, Dawat Islami is there to remind you that have you forgotten? Are you doing things as a formality? Because according to the norms of society, we have to do this anyway. But if you are making good intentions, 1 or 2 or 3, Dawat Islami is here to remind you, are you doing 4, 5 and 6 intentions? You need to. Why? Because our intention, our whole goal is to refrain from not just all the sins, but from every single thing that can lead to a sin. And not from that means stopping the formality as well, that can also lead to a sin. Because we're not doing it for Allah and His Rasul anymore. And 2, we want to try and do every single good thing. Not leave anything out. Try and do everything to please Allah and His Rasul, and gain as much as blessings, as much as barakah in the month of Ramadan, as much as good deeds as we can. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Dear viewers of Madani Channel, in the last episode we spoke about, teaching the Holy Quran and imparting religious knowledge on people, and what could be the negatives and what could be the positives. Today, inshallah, I want to go further into this, And forget everybody else. Look at yourself about when it comes to what intentions are you making for reciting the Holy Quran. So it's two different things, teaching and, the Holy Quran and making others aware of religious knowledge. This is something totally different. Now we go further into, our topics and we look at reciting the Holy Quran. And before anything, I want to narrate to you a story, a narration with many negatives in there. But the main negative, just like the episode before, I'm also mentioning again, is that not reading for the sake of Allah and Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This episode is about the intentions for reciting the Holy Quran. But if it's not for Allah and His Rasul, many doors of evil can open. And I want to mention a narration about the negatives. So then you will understand that what can happen when you don't do things for the sake of Allah and His Rasul. And to summarize the story, dear viewers of Madani Channel, there was a man who was reciting the Holy Quran. And when he was reciting the Holy Quran, he was reciting from beginning to the end of a surah, or you could say from beginning to the end of the Holy Quran. And he was reciting, and he was doing this for the sake of Allah and Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. And the narration goes that when he was doing this for Allah and His Rasul, he saw a man walk past him. In the corner of his eye, where he was reciting from, outside of his house, he seen somebody walk past his house. Now, it was a door, through the doorway, it was a hallway or something where this man had passed through. And the man who was reading, he could see from the corner of his eye. And then he carried on reciting the Holy Quran. Now, stick with me, dear viewers on Madani Channel. When this man slept that night or one of the nights, after finishing the surah or the Holy Quran, he had a dream in which he saw that he was in the blessed court of Allah Azza wa Jal, and the angels are handing in the books of deeds within in his right hand, alhamdulillah. And then he would open the book of deeds. He would see that the entire Quran is there, or the entire surah that he read is there. But there was one ayah from the entire recitation missing. From his entire recitation of the surah, or his entire recitation of the Holy Quran, one ayah was missing, dear viewers on Madani Channel. Then he inquired about this. He asked that why is there one ayah missing? I'm sure I read this ayah. The angels, they explained to him, oh person, oh man, indeed, you did recite this ayah that you are talking about. Indeed, you did recite the Holy Quran, this surah, and you did recite that ayah that you are saying. However, when you were reciting, remember, dear viewers on Madani Channel, when he was reciting, in the corner of his eye, when his door was open, he seen somebody there. He seen somebody walk past. While he was reading the Holy Quran, his intention changed. The angels explained, when you were reciting and you seen somebody, you tried to recite in a more beautiful way. Hence, you weren't reciting for Allah, you were reciting for that person. That's why the deeds for the entire Quran, they are there, but the specific ayah that you read for the person, that hasn't been included in your book of deeds. Allahu Akbar. Dear viewers on Madani Channel, what do we learn out of many, many, many lessons that we can take from this? The one thing is this, is that we're not doing this for the sake of Allah and His Rasul. And because we don't do this, Allah na kare, what if we are reciting the Holy Quran for people, and on the Day of Judgment we expect to see, books and books being recited of the Holy Quran in our book of deeds. We expect that, but it's all, it's all on the bad side of our book of deeds. It's all in the sinning. Why? Because we read all of the Quran to please other people. We read all of the Quran so people say, MashaAllah, Subhanallah, Vava. They do your Vava. They say that this guy is amazing. Look at the way he's reciting. We recite the Holy Quran because we have a beautiful voice. We want people to know that I have a beautiful voice. All these things, the viewers of Madani Channel, these are all doors opening towards sinning. And then when you open doors towards sinning, what is the big door that opens all these doors? That is not reciting the Quran for Allah and His Rasul. So this is the negatives, and this is the main negative that can lead to many other negatives. So to keep it short and simple, dear viewers of Madani Channel, try to refrain from reciting for anybody else. Always, always, always make sure your intentions are clear. And not just in reciting the Holy Quran, but in anything you do, always have this intention that is for Allah and His Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Dear viewers of Madani Channel, Now we will go into the intentions for reciting the Holy Quran. And there are loads in the beautiful book of Amir al-Sunnat, Damat Barakatul Aliyah, my Shaykh Tariqat, Allahu Akbar, who is the founder of Dawat Islamic, who is bringing you Madani Channel, who is bringing to you a channel through your home, 24/7, free of charge. What for? Because he has heard for the Ummah, he wants you to learn Quran and Sunnah. And today we are talking about the recitation of the Quran. Allah of the days of Ramadan have come and gone, dear viewers of Madani Channel. It is the 26th of Ramadan. And you know, the 26th episode. And how much have you recited the Holy Quran? And if we have you made the correct intentions? And the very first intention is to please Allah and His Rasul. Try to recite the Holy Quran for Allah and His Rasul, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. And then Amir al-Sunnah mentions in his book, The Secret of Gaining More Rewards, it's mentioned that the very first intention, that I will see the Holy Quran with the intention of earning reward. I will touch it with respect. I will kiss it and touch it with my eyes and place it on my head. Don't just recite the Holy Quran because it's Ramadan. It's a formality. Or, you know, those Hafiz-e-Quran, they have to. You know, this is where it's dangerous. Hafiz-e-Quran have to recite the Holy Quran because they're going to lead the Taraweeh namaz. So they know they have to, so the besti doesn't happen. What's besti? So they don't get embarrassed in front of people. So they don't look bad. So people don't point a finger at them and say, what kind of imam are you? What kind of hafiz are you? You know, look at the hufaz who are giving lukma. What kind of hufaz are you? So it's very careful, in particular for him, that if he's reciting the Holy Quran, is he doing it for Allah and His Rasul? Check your intentions, dear viewers of Madani Channel, again and again and again, and then read the book of Amir al-Sunnah. Why? Because it helps us, go to this section, page number 35, the intentions of reciting the Holy Quran in the book of Secret of Earning Reward. Look at what Amir al-Sunnah tells us. Make these intentions, then recite the Holy Quran. And what is there in the very first intention? Allahu Akbar. So many intentions, but when we look at it, I will see the Holy Quran with the intention of gaining reward. Before you even read, you're looking at the Quran and you're gaining reward. Allahu Akbar. Then you touch the Holy Quran with respect. This is also reward, dear viewers of Madani Channel. Your hands will be a witness for you on the Day of Judgment that this person, he not only looked at the Holy Quran, but he touched the Holy Quran, the book of Allah, the pure kalam of Allah Azza wa Jal, that was given to Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala wa sallam. That not only that, I will kiss it with these sinful lips. My lips will become pure after kissing the Holy Quran. Not only that, when I touch it, I will place it on my eyes and place it on my head out of respect. I'd like to mention one more intention, dear viewers of my channel, is that by obeying Allah Azza wa Jal and His beloved and blessed Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, I will recite A'udhu and Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim at the start of reciting the Holy Quran. And dear viewers of Madani Channel, this isn't just going to please Allah and His Rasul. Amir al-Sunnah mentions that this is obeying Allah and His Rasul as well. I will recite A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajeem, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And the last thing I want to mention, dear viewers of Madani Channel, when you do everything at the above in the month of Ramadan, Allahu Akbar, maybe sacrifice upon this month, how many more rewards are you going to get? All this will be times by many and many and many. And the Holy Quran, especially for those Hufaz, those Quranic Hifz students who have memorized the Holy Quran, or even if it's not them, if it's somebody who's really has love for the Holy Quran, who's not a Hafiz of Quran, but he reads, he does that extra effort to recite the Holy Quran in the month of Ramadan, imagine how much rewards you will get. It's all multiplied by many, many and many. So Allah Azza wa Jal, forgive me if I've said anything wrong, and enable us to recite the Holy Quran in a proper way, in the state of wudu, facing the Qibla. This is some extra intentions I'm telling you, dear viewers of Madani Channel. Acting upon in the order of the Ahadith, I will try to cry as well while I'm reciting. If I'm unable to cry, I will make my face as though I am crying. All these things we should do. All these doors will open when we do this for Allah and His Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. May Allah forgive us if we haven't made the correct intentions, and enable us in the last 4 days of Ramadan at least to try and make the most of Ramadan and act upon what has been said and recite the Holy Quran truly to please Allah and His Rasul and gain as much as rewards as we can. And then after the month of Ramadan, try again and again and again to recite the Holy Quran. Don't just leave it in the corner of our house. Pick it up, cry, read, dust it off, face the Qibla, in wudu, touch it, kiss it, respect it, have a close connection to it. And I'll finish off with this, that Islam is a way of life. What way? The best way, the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Sunnah way. And that's the way we strive to follow. This is what Dawat Islami and my Shaykh Tariqat Amiri al-Sunnah, Dawat Barakatum al-Aliyah, who is the founder of Dawat Islami, try to propagate and teach always and remind me and you. May Allah Azza wa Jal forgive us if we have done anything wrong in the month of Ramadan. Ameen. Bijahi Nabil Ameen. Wa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Sallu ala al-Habib. Sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad. Sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam.
Easy rewards, easy rewards, easy rewards, easy rewards, easy rewards.